trading for Chris Webber. To college hoops now, in last night's Tournament of Champions in Charlotte, North Carolina. One of Dean Smith's former pupils, Eddie Fogler, who played for Smith and later was his assistant for 13 years, received another lesson from Smith last night in Charlotte. We go to the highlights. Vintage Dean Smith and Eddie Fogler on the sidelines. In the first half, Dante Calabrera drains 3 of his 12. Then Donald Williams hits a 3 of his own. He had 14 points. Jerry Stackhouse drains 1 as well for 3 of his 22. 21 of the Tar Heels' first 34 points came from three-point land. Then Rasheed Wallace couldn't be stopped. Jeff McInnes finds Wallace for the alley-oop jam. Eddie Fogler not too happy about that. McInnes finds Wallace again. The two-handed jam this time. Dean Smith loving it. North Carolina with a blowout. 95-58 is the final. Jerry Stackhouse finished with a game-high 22. Rasheed Wallace didn't play much in the second half, but still managed 17. And also in Charlotte for the Tournament of Champions last night, it was Temple and Cincinnati. Bob Huggins pleading for that Bearcats D that he loves. He got it. David Flint the steal, the dish to Bizell Durden for the bucket. Then JC transfer Arthur Long the steal, Durden the pull-up J. Cincy up 35-16 at the half. Second half, Temple's Rick Brunson, the trifecta. Al's within 7, but Darnell Burton pulls the Bearcats away with a 3 of his own. Are you ready for this final? 60-41. Temple shot just under 22% from the field, hitting on just 11 of 51 attempts. The 3-0 Bearcats will face North Carolina tonight in the championship game. The Davis Cup final has already been decided. Earlier today in Moscow, Sweden took the doubles over Russia, assuring the Swedes of their 5th Davis Cup title. The match went 5 tough sets, with Sweden winning 8-6 in the 5th, that same twosome that recently won the ATP Tour Doubles Championship. The Russians were attempting to become the first non-seeded team to capture the Davis Cup. Later in the morning, we'll look ahead to tonight's heavyweight fight between former champ Riddick Bowe and Larry Donald, a fight that was receiving little attention until Bowe took matters into his own hands, or right hand to be precise. A couple of heavyweights will go toe-to-toe this afternoon in Atlanta. Jay Barker will lead undefeated Alabama into battle against Florida with the SEC title and a trip to the Sugar on the line.
I'm a real people person. I get along with people. I just love people.
I'm a self-starter.
Selfless.
When I start by myself.
I got brains I haven't even used yet.
I'm monolingual.
I'm a sponge.
Information that way?
Does that have a toll?
With the high-tech skills you learn in the Navy, when it comes time for you to say something on an interview.
I have an extensive background in avionics and electronics. I'm computer literate, and I'm pretty good with people.
You'll actually have something to say. For more information, call 1-800-USA-NAVY. Maybe it's not another lure you need. Maybe it's a whole new reel. A Sigma bait cast reel with rugged machine-cut gears and Unilock anti-reverse. New from Shakespeare.
For a long time, I had this dream about a place that would be fun to live. You know, like a treehouse. Something that would remind me of my reckless youth. And I mean really reckless youth. When I was 11. And my wife called me a dreamer. And her mother gave me a weak smile. Till one day, there I was. With an axe and some 2x4s. And a dream come true.
Gant, clothes for the man comfortable in his own skin.
This holiday season, while you're shopping, we'll be dropping a ton of money in the Discover Card Big Payback. Just use your card for a chance to win weekly bonus prizes and the ultimate $1 million grand prize. It pays to Discover, the card with the big payback.
Buy 3 packs of Polaroid Instant Film between now and December 31st, and we guarantee you a great holiday. And on top of that, we'll give you back $5. See your local retailer for details.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Polaroid Captiva. The pictures stay in until you take them out.
Michigan State has called a press conference for 3 p.m. Eastern this afternoon. The Spartans are expected to announce George Perles' successor as head football coach. University President Peter McPherson has reportedly recommended Nick Saban, defensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns. Well, later today in Atlanta, the SEC will hold its third championship game, and for the third time, it will be Alabama and Florida playing for the title. Jay Barker, Bama's all-time passing yardage leader, is 34-1-1 as a starter, while Danny Werfel is hoping to lead the Gators back to the Sugar Bowl. With a look ahead, here's Steve Cyphers in Atlanta.
Robin, this afternoon, 71,000 fans will fill the Georgia Dome to watch the SEC's two winningest teams in the 90s go at it. And while one team is thinking rebound, the other is thinking roll. On the surface, this game is for the SEC championship. But for both teams, a win would mean more than that. For the Tide, it's a chance to roll on, undefeated, to a possible national title.
I think just winning on Saturday is not going to be enough. Matter of fact, I know it's not. Because we're going to have three undefeated football teams, and we haven't had any recognition with the, getting the first place votes this year except one.
We got to score to settle. It's not going to be like a revenge fact. All Florida's in our way, and our way for us to win the national championship. We're going to go down there and take care of business.
For the Gators, a win would mean a chance to make amends. January 2nd in New Orleans. Sugar Bowl visions of a rematch with Florida State and a chance to break last week's tie.
It's rare that, in college football that you get a chance to face a team again, especially only, really one game after. And it would really be exciting for me, I think, to get a rematch and try to at least settle this tie one way or the other.
You're not going to hear me talk about who we play after this game. This is big enough itself. To play Alabama for the conference championship again, we don't even need to worry about the next game.
The Gators lead the SEC in scoring offense, 45 a game. The Tide leads the league in scoring defense, 13.5. And while Florida averages more than 300 passing yards a game, Alabama's defense has not allowed an opposing team 300 yards through the air in 58 regular season contests, not since 1989. Still, don't look for either side to change anything now.
Shoot, we're going to go out and, throw it around like we always do and hope it hits our guys more than it hits the other guys.
Defensively, we've got to hold them to a little less than what they've been scoring, and offensively, we've got to score a whole lot more than what we've been scoring.
Still, Stallings likes his chances better than a year ago when quarterback Jay Barker was injured and Florida won. Barker likes it better, too.
I had to sit here and watch it here in Tuscaloosa on TV, and that was very tough. But we gave all we had last year. We just came up short, but hopefully this year we can continue to win and push on and try to win a national championship.
With a week off, Barker and his teammates are rested, but Florida's a bit banged up. Offensive guard Donnie Young is out, and tailback Elijah Williams with sore ankles is questionable. Robin?
All right, Chris, there plenty of post-game reaction and interviews on the 7 p.m. SportsCenter from Steve Cyphers. The Florida Gators certainly know how to put points on the board. They're second in the nation in scoring, and Bama's 5th-ranked defense will be a challenge for them. The last time the Tide lost a game outside of their home state was in Gainesville to Florida in '91. Another team from the Sunshine State is on Chris Berman's mind this morning, the Miami Dolphins. In his 2-minute drill, Boomer will chat about their big game against the Bills tomorrow. And when we come back, it's back to the NBA. Another Chris Webber, was hoping to lead the Bullets back into the winner's circle. SportsCenter will continue in a moment.
So how does Magnavox make technology people want? They solve your problems, like finding a lost remote control with the exclusive remote locator feature. Go ahead.
My darling, you are as gentle as...
Or by solving the problems of soft programming versus...
If clean is what you
loud
want,
programming with smart sound. It keeps the volume at normal levels no matter what comes on.
Begging your pardon, please, but what about the remarkable picture technology?
They'll have to experience the picture quality for themselves.
Perhaps we should encourage them.
Good idea.
When you buy a select Magnavox TV with remote locator from participating retailers, Magnavox will send you this additional nightlight remote, absolutely free. This handy remote has buttons that light up in the dark, so it's perfect for the bedroom. The nightlight remote is a $24.99 value, yours free only through this limited time TV offer. Call now for your nightlight coupon and your nearest participating dealer.
Mike Tirico and Tom Jackson here at Radio Shack to kick off ESPN's NFL Pro Bowl sweepstakes.
To enter, drop by any Radio Shack, vote your favorite players into the NFL Pro Bowl, and you could win a trip to see the game in Hawaii or great Radio Shack prizes.
Here comes a voter now. She cuts left. She's racing towards the ballot box.
Uh-oh.
I hope you're voting for me.
Vote for you?
You couldn't sack a bag of groceries.
Whoa! ESPN's NFL Pro Bowl sweepstakes. Enter at Radio Shack.
More now from the NBA. The Atlanta Hawks were hoping to hand the Bulls another loss at their new place, the United Center. Also last night, the Bullets hosted the Pistons, still searching for their first win since acquiring Chris Webber back on November 17th. Webber and Grant Hill would lead their respective teams last night. Hill and the Pistons got the jump early. Hill the baseline drive and the reverse lay-in. Pistons up by 15 early. Bullets storm back on a 23-7 run. Bullets by 3 at the half. Then Webber finishes off again over Mark West. Bullets win, snapping their 6-game losing streak. And the Hawks and the Bulls, always a little entertainment there at United Center. Third quarter, Steve Smith the steal, an easy lay-in, tying the game at 49 all. Then late in the game, Craig Elo. What is it about Chris today? Drains a 3, Hawks win it. Bulls' third loss in 6 games in the new place. Paul Westphal and the Suns taking on the Celts. Fourth quarter, Dan Marley finds Danny Manning under the basket. Seconds left. Barkley picks Dino Raja. Suns win 107-102. Also last night, Willie Burton scored 25 and Clarence Weatherspoon 18 in the Sixers' 3-point win of the Kings. While Miami turned up the heat on the Nets, winning 115-97. Glenn Rice with 34. Kevin Willis had 31 points, 17 rebounds. A sprained right wrist kept Derek Coleman out of this one. Back to college hoops for Yale and UConn. The Huskies heated it up quickly. Brian Fair finds nothing in sight, so he steps outside and nails the 3. UConn led 44-21 at the half. Then Donnie Marshall plays some defense, creates his own scoring opportunity and converts. Marshall had 25 on the night. 105-53 is the final. Yale remains winless while UConn improves to 3-0. Brian Fair added 20 for the UConn Huskies. Ohio U survived a scare from Cal Irvine in the Hawkeye Classic. Gary Trent scored 6 of his 25 in OT. At the Carrier Classic, Syracuse held Kent to just 13 points in the first half, went on to win by 33. One can only hope the Bo Donald fight will be as good as their press conference this week. More on tonight's fight in the ring when we come back.
What they do is simple. So simple it would be easy to miss it altogether. But they're making a difference. You see, drunk driving fatalities are down 32% in the last 10 years. And fatalities from teen drunk driving are down 60%. So to everyone who checks an ID, offers to call a cab, or helps a customer know when to say when, we extend our thanks. By doing what's right, you are making things better. A message from Budweiser.
The card. Chavez versus Lopez. Trinidad versus Carr. Randall versus Moore. The event, Judgment Day in Monterey. 4 championship fights. Saturday, December 10th. Live on pay-per-view. Call your cable company.
How many miles must you walk to reach the JCPenney Classic? Will you travel as far as Jim Albus? Climb as high as Joanne Connor? Cross the void with Jim Dent? Dig as deep as Arnold Palmer? And see as far as Tammy Green? Keep walking. We all live the quest. That's why we watch. Let ESPN show us the way. The JCPenney Classic, today at 5 Eastern.
Everything that I wanted to be since I was 5 years old, and that was to play football in the National Football League. And also to play in the Super Bowl. And all of a sudden, I'm in a room, you know, with a bag of cocaine, and I'm snorting this cocaine, and I'm smoking this cocaine. I believe that if I would have played in the Super Bowl, we'd have won.
More on ex-Cincinnati Bengals Stanley Wilson's tragic fall into the world of drugs tomorrow at 12 noon on NFL Game Day. Boomer and the gang will also look at John Elway. Will getting the Broncos into the playoffs prove to be his greatest comeback of all? Then at 7 p.m. Eastern, Boomer, TJ, and I will bring you all the day's highlights on NFL Prime Time. Unanswered questions remain at the center of the Thursday night car crash involving 3 members of the Seattle Seahawks. What remains a mystery is who was driving the 1992 Oldsmobile Bravada that ran into a utility pole near the Seahawks headquarters. Police have charged Seahawks star running back Chris Warren with vehicular assault. saying he was driving the call. But Warren's agent and the agent for reserve running back Lamar Smith say that Smith was the driver. He owns the car. Police are also investigating the likelihood that alcohol was a factor in the crash, as empty beer cans were found in the vehicle. While both Warren and Smith are expected to recover, defensive tackle Mike Fryer may never walk again.
I think the surgery went very well, and I think this will give him a successful fusion and protect him against this dislocating again.
However, his future still, at this point, looks like it will be confined to the wheelchair.
I think that's the likelihood, yeah.
Mike is hurt. He's hurt, seriously hurt, and we need to take a moment to say, hey, man, let's pray for you. Let's encourage. How can we be a support? How can we support Chris Lamar? What can we do to help?
Chris Warren, Seattle's leading rusher, suffered 2 fractured ribs in the accident. He remains on the Seahawks' active list for tomorrow's game with the Colts. His status for the game, however, is questionable. The New York Jets weren't the only ones stunned by Miami's number 13 last Sunday. Dan Marino kept the Swami from having a perfect Week 13. Marino's heroics were nothing new, of course, and his mastery of the Dolphins' high-powered offense often offsets what Miami is lacking on the other side of the ball. I think I hear the whistle now for Chris Berman's 2-minute drill.
December, the time when the men and boys get separated in the NFL. The burning question, as it's been for about 10 straight years, can the AFC come up with somebody that can hang in there with Dallas or San Francisco come Super Bowl 29 on January 29th at Joe Robbie? The conference sorted itself out last week. We pretty much know 4 of the 6 playoff teams. Both Pittsburgh and Cleveland will make it. One is the central champ. Both San Diego and Miami have strong grips on their divisions. It's easy to see why the first 3 are in. They have the best defenses in the AFC. While Miami does not, they have something the others do not. Dan Marino, a quarterback they can hang their hat on. The other 3 teams are hoping their man can wear a top hat in the playoffs, but they're not really sure. The best of the 3 this season, Stan Humphries of the Chargers. His leadership and big play abilities led the Bolts to their 7-0 start. But lately, since his elbow surgery, he hasn't been as sharp. But the 2 long bombs dropped by Tony Martin Sunday give the Chargers hope. Humphries is on his way back. Pittsburgh goes back to Neil O'Donnell to start this week after 2 wins by Mike Tomczak. O'Donnell is tough, but this season he's gone backwards from his Pro Bowl 92 and his 3,000-yarder in 93. Cleveland has the biggest mystery. Can Vinny do it on a winning team? He was back last week, and at times he looked smooth. At other times he looked awful. Mark Rippon is available, but Cleveland wants Testaverde to be their man. Now, I know defenses win championships, but the AFC team with the tough defense and a quarterback who steps up will win the conference. Stay tuned. Art Monk has paid much larger dividends for the New York Jets than the team ever imagined when they signed the quiet, classy, soon-to-be Hall of Famer in the offseason. Sunday, he'll go into the record books when he catches a pass in his 177th straight game, tying the mark held by Steve Largent, another quiet, classy, soon-to-be Hall of Famer. Largent has shown he still has good hands, having won his election to the U.S. House of Representatives from Oklahoma. No surprise he was a winner in the polls, just as he was snaring passes from Jim Zorn and Dave Craig throughout the years with the Seahawks. But you have to feel for Steve this weekend. It's the latest spot in the all-time NFL record book that he'll have to relinquish. Since he retired, Monk passed him in catches, James Lofton in yards, Jerry Rice in TDs. Hey, nobody is passing the Swami this year. A 2-1 week felled only by the Jets' collapse leaves us 22-17, 5 above Mendoza. Both the Packers and Lions at 6-6 need this game, but when they play in recent times, it's been the Pack. Mike Holmgren 6-1 against Wayne Fonts, including the playoffs last year and earlier this season. Cheeseheads by a touchdown. And the absolute Limburger stinker of the week, Buddy returns to Houston to find no run and shoot and no win. Oilers win on a run in the ninth, 9-8. The football world Sunday is looking for the demise of the Buffalo Bills. Sure, they are 6-6, but these are the boys at the Alamo. Davy Crockett, James Bowie, William Travis, the small group of men down to their last few rounds of ammo, facing 3,000 surrounding Mexicans of Santa Ana. They'll fire off their bullets before they go down, which includes Sunday night at Miami here on ESPN. And a classic case of standing in against what seems the inevitable. Bills 24, Dolphins 23. But then again, I was a history major at Brown. Couldn't help myself.
Gee, how surprising. Boomer going with the Bills. On Thursday, we brought you number 1 versus number 2, the Vikings and Bears. What a game. Tomorrow night, it's number 1 versus number 2 in the AFC East. Will the Bills' Thurman Thomas be able to rush for over 100 yards again against the Dolphins' D? No one has done that in 3 straight games against Miami. Game time, 8 p.m. Eastern, Sunday night. Tonight in Las Vegas, Riddick Bowe will attempt to get back into the heavyweight title picture when he faces Larry Donald in the ring. He already faced him in a press conference this week, and Bowe defended his outburst.
Well, you know, he squared off with me, and I figured he was in the process of, about to throw punches, so I'm always taught to get mine off first.
Just in in case you don't know what Bo is referring to, there it is again. Donald was quite disappointed in the former champs right to the face.
I thought that me and Riddick Bowe was world-class fighters and supposed to be very professional, but I expect that from a journeyman. And Riddick Bowe was very unprofessional.
He only came away with a bloody lip in that one. Bo and Donald are both 27 years old. The former champ outweighs his opponent by 13 pounds. He's an inch taller, but they have the same reach. Bo is 34-1, Donald 16-0. The other biggie on today's college football schedule, Army and Navy. The Cadets weren't certain of victory until the final seconds last year. More when we come back.
This holiday season, while you're shopping, we'll be dropping a ton of money into Discover Card Big Payback. Now, every time you use your card, you're automatically entered in our holiday sweepstakes. The more you shop, the more chances you have to win. Weekly bonus prizes of $50,000 or land the ultimate $1 million grand prize. It pays to discover. The card with the big payback.
Oh, my son, the graduate.
So, Nikki, any plans now that high school's over?
You know, it's gonna work for me.
Not if you're smart. You know what I think you should do? Stay close to home.
You got plenty of time to work. Take the first thing that comes along there.
Give Anthony a call. So what are you going to do? Well, I'm going to study nuclear propulsion, satellite navigation. In the Navy.
Oh, great.
Way to go, Nick. For more information on the high-tech skills that can help launch a career, call 1-800-USA-NAVY.
70,000 entered, but only one became a living legend. Michael Joyce won ESPN's Football Legends Sweepstakes. $10,000.
Thanks, ESPN.
4 ESPN Sunday night NFL games.
Prime time. Chris Berman.
Tickets to the legendary Super Bowl. And Savan Clothing. ESPN, where legends are made. This sweepstakes is sponsored by Savan. No wrinkle cotton clothing.
SportsCenter is brought to you by Budweiser, the king of beers, who reminds you friends know when to say when.
As always, ESPN is your source for sports. A little bit of everything today, including plenty of hoops, kicking off with Michigan and Tennessee Chattanooga at 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll hit the slopes of Vail, Colorado at 4 o'clock for the Women's World Cup Super G. Following SportsCenter, it's Louisville at Michigan State, then Florida at Wake Forest. Arizona State and New Mexico will provide us with a little midnight madness. As complete as our lineup is here on ESPN, there are other matchups of interest today. And with today's ticket, here's Carl Ravage.
If you listen to Coach Bob Sutton, Army can finish the season 4-7, but still have a successful campaign if they beat Navy this afternoon in Philadelphia. How close has this series been? Army leads 44-43 all time. There have been 7 ties. The midshipmen have outscored the cadets 1,203 to 1,135. That's a difference of only 0.7 of a point per game. Army won a typically close one last year, 16-14, as Ryan Buccineri missed an 18-yard field goal at the gun. It's a big day for college hoops. UMass puts its first ever #1 ranking on the line. The opponent, Kansas, #7. They'll play in the John Wooden Classic. It's UMass's first ever game in the state of California. UMass forward Lou Rowe loves the spotlight. In 4 career games against top 10 opponents, Rowe has averaged 29 points and 12 boards per game. The Minutemen will again have to deal with Jayhawk center Greg Ostertag, who burned them last year for a double-double in a preseason NIT tournament. In the second game, #3 Kentucky meets 5th-ranked UCLA. This is the first meeting between these two teams since the '75 NCAA Finals. That also turned out to be the last game John Wooden would coach for the Bruins. The Wildcats face their second top 15 team this week. Rick Pitino's squad disposed of Gary Trent in Ohio Wednesday night.
Other news and notes, cyclist Greg LeMond, 3-time winner of the Tour de France, is expected to announce his retirement today. And the California Angels and first baseman Pedro Guerrero have agreed to a 1-year AAA contract. Don't forget to pour the coffee, toast the bagels, or back home, fix a mess of grits. Join us tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern for Sunday Sports Day. During the 2 hours leading up to NFL Game Day at noon, we'll look at the marketing of George Foreman, a heavyweight with a heavy pitch. Michael Jordan, the baseball player. How much has he improved? And Joe Theismann sits down for our Sunday morning call.